This is Marvel's Spider-Man on PlayStation 5, the remastered version of the game. So originally, when I first checked out, Spider-Man on the PS5, it was the Miles Morales version of the game. And I always wanted to take a look at the remastered version of this Spider-Man experience. But, it was kind of like, I've already finished the game, I've done all the DLC, why exactly would I spend whatever amount it was just to, revisit a quick swing through the city? But anyways, PlayStation for Christmas sent me the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales and some Spider-Man 4K movies, which was kind of cool. And, yeah. And then I was like, okay, let's take a look at this. And it took a lot of work to get my save over to this platform. I gotta tell you, it was a ton of work. I had to, so, on Xbox stuff, you just put it, it's just in the cloud, so you just start the game and you play it. But for this one, for whatever reason, it's so convoluted, you had to have the original PS4 version. So I went to the PS5 version, I didn't have a save there. So I went back onto my PS4, where I guess because I moved the game over to, well, my PS5, it doesn't exist there anymore, so I unplugged that, because I was surprised the PS4 was plugged in, regardless. And then I went to the PS5, and I re-downloaded Spider-Man PS4 Edition, and then I turned on PS4 Edition, uploaded the save, deleted that, and then turned on the PS5 remastered version that you're seeing now, and was able to import my save, so it was a lot of work. So yeah, on the PS5, we do get a very, very beautifully upgraded version of this absolutely incredible Spider-Man game. Maybe the best Spider-Man game? I don't know. The Spider-Man 2 is pretty amazing, so I'd say at least the second best Spider-Man game ever created. It is absolutely spectacular, even though that's not in the name for Spider-Man. So we get, I should mention, photo mode, which looks breathtaking. We could just jump into the photo mode here, and we could just a freeze frame of Spider-Man, just totally free-falling in action, and there's so many cool settings you can adjust. Yeah, there we go. Isn't that cool? It's spectacular. Ow. Just gonna fall on my face there. So yeah, we get 3 different options here. And again, I do have a video for Miles Morales if you're curious about that one. So we got Fidelity. So this is a native 4K dynamic scaling. It goes down quite a bit, but you get 30 FPS, you get ray tracing features, you get enhanced lighting, you get additional VFX, temporal solution options. So, just to quickly take a look at the ray tracing, we go up to some window here on the street. You can see it's decently high res. There's going to be a drop in the resolution a bit. It's just all ray tracing right now, but it's pretty good. You can see the shape of the character. You can see out, not across the street, but you can see, well, actually I guess that technically would be across the street, but beyond that fence, you can't really see too much going on. There's a couple of people on the other side, but you get a distant amount of ray tracing, a good amount of ray traced reflections, which is really, really cool. And it's hey, oh, yeah, seriously, it is actually quite impressive how far that goes. I love Spider-Man games. So much fun. So, then we can come down here, and I don't know why this is so creaky, this sound. And then we can go to visual, and then we can go to performance. So this is 60 FPS. It drops ray tracing, drops all that stuff. Again, that dynamic 4K. Then you have to apply, and you restart. And then you get, again, an instant increase in fluidity, which is insanely noticeable. But we go back here, and you see, no reflections. It's just, this fake sort of random reflectiveness. But, obviously, the fluidity is just, absolutely an insane upgrade. Really, the Fidelity mode looks fantastic, but I gotta tell ya, whip swinging at the 60 FPS here is just absolutely spectacular. It feels and looks so cool. But, luckily, we have a happy middle ground, because Insomniac, they're wizards. Let's be honest here. Complete wizards. And I'm glad I discovered the option to turn off those J. Jonah Jameson podcast things. Those were so annoying. So we got Performance RT. So this is 60 FPS with the ray tracing, and it's dynamic. So this does change the pedestrian density. It lowers the resolution of the scene a lot. This drops you way down. I think it's 1440p is kind of the max you get. It's usually 1080. But we get ray tracing, and we get well, basically the higher quality fluidity that we want. So that's kind of a nice happy medium. And you can see, again, very similar amount of scale to the ray tracing, but it is toned down a lot in regards to, you know, the accuracy of the scene. And it might sound silly being like, oh, well, who cares about this stuff? Well, this is the next step for our technology, you know. There'll be a time where all games just by default have like ray tracing included because it's such a wonderful technology. But just like look at the buildings, and it just like it adds a nice little subtle bit of realism to like the reflections, and, you know, shiny surfaces look fantastic with this. And when you're swinging along in the city and you're seeing all of the perfectly reflected glass, it's a really cool feature. You know, it honestly is a really, really neat sort of thing to have included here. I absolutely love that this is an option. So we're going to show off this a bit, and then we're also going to show off just the regular performance modes, just so you can see, like, there is obviously a big difference in regards to the resolution quality between the different modes, right? But that's the cool thing, is there's a bit of, like, visual quality options for everyone, right? Like, you can do the ray tracing, you can see what the tech has to deal with, and what it has to offer. And you can also go wild and be like, ah, I want performance, I want ray tracing, I don't want to lose anything. You know, those options are up to you. And wow, I have apparently been out of the game a little bit too long. Oh, I forgot I got this cool thing. Oh, and it plays sounds through the controller. Kind of a bit of a waste of the whipping there because there was nobody nearby. Kind of funny. But yeah, obviously I'm a little out of touch with my Spider-Manning. I have, you know, I've played through the whole campaign. I finished Miles Morales 2. I've done all the DLC for this one, which is kind of neat because it sets up, you know, additional Spider-Man stuff, like the Spider-Man to follow. And we know that there's a follow-up coming, and we know it's going to be like a mix of the two characters. And I'm just like very curious to see, you know, where they take that and where they go with it. Defend the vehicle. Sounds like a lot of work. And you know, you can feel the kind of the webs and everything like that, which is neat. And you get all these different abilities and power-ups. Oh, and you get like different suits too. That's not from there. I don't know where you do that, so you could like change your suit. Oh, I didn't want to go to gadgets, these designs. And as you can tell, like I've got quite a lot of suits available. So this is like the, well, you know, this is kind of like the regular suit of the game, and it could get like classic. Oh, that classic Spider-Man outfit. Ooh. So yeah, I've got the. Is this the Raimi suit? I think this is the Raimi suit, right? Like, oh, okay, that's like the Tobey Maguire one. Fantastic Four, that is hilarious. That's the Far From Home updated suit option. But yeah, as you can tell, I've got like a lot of suits downloaded. What is this one? Amazing. Is this the Amazing Spider-Man suit design? Oh, that's interesting. That is hilarious. So I'm just kind of like marveling at the different suit options. Is that his kind of stealth suit in No Way Home, or is like this looks like his, kind of looks like No Way Home Spider-Man suit. I don't know if they just added that hybrid suit, because that's like the nanite ones. So there's so many, like they did a lot of love and care in regards to the different suit options, and like there's so many cool ones. Oh, the negative suit, Stark suit. I love the noir style. It's so funny. But you know, it's kind of like just like an Ultimate Spider-Man game. I mean, this one is terrifying. Oh, and 2099. Oh yeah, and that one's like a comic book like one. I mean, you know, I don't really think much beat this style of the suit. Like this is just like peak Spider-Man aesthetic for me. Oh look, it's the Fisk Towers. Big fight in that one. Like, this game was just really well done, and there's so much life in the city. It's so cool, and it's probably by far the most decorated, you know, sort of like green space here. Usually, like, I've been playing The Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it's the only one you have on Xbox, which is, like, almost hilariously sad. But, like, you know, the difference in visual tech between these Spider-Man games of not even that long is kind of amazing when you think about it, just in terms of how much, like, visually the games have changed. Because that one's basically, and it was a bit of a rush job too. You know, like it honestly was. It was a rush job by, I think it was like Beanox that did it just to get it out for in time for the movie. So it's not really their fault, but you know, like it literally was just like empty grass areas and like a few trees. And here we have like a fully realized, there's pathing, there's people, there's like a properly set up dimensions of the park, there's rocks, there's buildings. Like this, the difference, like there's people doing like a picnic. Like the scale difference is just absolutely remarkable. Absolutely remarkable indeed. And the reflection stuff. But let's, actually I want to take a look at these people picnicking first. And then I was like, we'll switch over to the other option. It's like it springs. Where did the, wasn't there picnic people? There's one of those people having a picnic right here. Or did they dynamically stop having a picnic as I swung by? There were picnic people here, I swear, just a second ago. They must have took their picnic and left. Anyways, let's switch over back to the performance mode. Yeah, I would definitely say, you know, God, it's so fast too. Like this game just like loads instantly. I would say, you know, try the 60 FPS modes, see which one you like most. Do you want that bit of higher res? Like there is obviously like a lot more resolution here, but you know, you do lose the subtle effects of having a much more natural and realistic world. So I think Performance RT is definitely a something I would suggest checking out. If you do want it to look super, super sharp, you know, obviously Fidelity's there, but I think having the frame rate with 60 is good. So I would say, you know, Performance or Performance RT are kind of like your main sort of go-to options for this one to really take advantage of the amazing feeling that this game can have. Like, I'm just like whip swinging. Like, this game really just got the hang of, like, letting you just hang around and have fun, like, exploring the world. I guess I could, like, look for conflict or something, or grab more bags. I mean, there are, like, little events, but I've sort of, you know, I've really done all the important stuff. You know, I've done the missions. And the story of this game is just incredible. I want to mention that, too. Like, they really seem to get the character. You know, they incorporate Miles into it very well. You know, it's got some excellent villains. How it handles those villains is really good. It shows you this, like, Peter Parker type element, too, is there. And I thought that was very well handled. I really did love what they did with this one. It was really engaging. It had neat character development. Could you just... Come on, let's just crawl up here. You know, let's do everything that a spider can. Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Yeah, they definitely nailed this. And it seems like, you know, maybe a high-budget version of Spider-Man is something that can deliver really great gaming experiences. How do I get you? I want this wood backpack. The spider signal. Can't imagine what that would be. Oh yeah, and there's all these other places too, like the raft was part of this. The story was like pretty long, I think, really engaging. And it's just a really, truly remarkable experience. So, once again, bravo to Insomniac for delivering what is such a great Spider-Man game, and a very realistic Spider-Man game. Like, oh, there's the rocks on, they're teasing that early, that's funny. You know, like, I really don't think people realize, because they just, like, you kind of play the games, you're just like, oh, cool, it's a game of its time, and blah, blah, blah. But if you look at, like, you know, Spider-Man 2, the game that I played when I was younger, that we still, you know, kind of consider, like, the best Spider-Man title, you know, it's like a completely different world. Like, it's like, basically, that one was cool because it was a whole open world area, you know, it was like, oh my god, this whole place, realized, and that's amazing. But then you go here, and you see this, it's like, it's not just, like, an empty open world, like, it's actual place where there's, you know, there's people, like, pedestrians, there's cars, there's full traffic. Like, it actually looks like a realistic world. And then I bet you any money, you come from like a gen from now, like I'm sure with over the PS5 when we get like brand new releases here, like this will look, you know, it's still good, still impressive, but it's gonna get even more intense. And then in like you know, a gen or two they do another Spider-Man game. Like, there will always be Spider-Man games. When Tobey Maguire was like, I'll always be Spider-Man, he was kind of right, because there was, you know, anyways. Sorry, that's kind of funny. But, you know, just like there'll always be, like, new Spider-Man movies, because Sony likes making money, there'll always be new Spider-Man games. Will they always be exclusive? Who knows, right? Things change. But, you know, I'm trying to think of basically going from, like, a gen or so from now. I bet you this will even look, you know, basic. You know, that's kind of what I'm saying, is like, you know, maybe we'll come here and this will be full of, everybody will be sitting here, they'll be fully ray-traced environments, they'll be eating actual food, you can sit down and eat with them, and there's like real traffic, and you know what I mean? Like, maybe they'll recreate all of the movies in the games. It's hard to say where things will go, especially with like tech and AI and everything like that. But the main thing I'm trying to get across is, you know, this will probably look very basic and archaic someday, which is a hilarious thought. Because, you know, it's just funny because this looks amazing. Like, it looks just practically stunning. But we always say that, and then games and stuff always look better over time, and I think that's just so funny. But I think this is probably going to be one of those Spider-Man games that we see carried forward many, many generations into the future, if that makes sense. Like, I can definitely see this being something where it's like, you know, we get many, many new Spider-Man experiences to come of this one, like, being remastered, remade multiple times. I definitely think this will be one of the more eternal Spider-Man offerings that we get to enjoy, and they did a spectacular job with this one. Spider-Man.